So Jim Ross has thrown his proverbial hat into the mix regarding Vince McMahon. And so let's get right to it. This is from WrestleZone. This happened last night, and I saw the link right before I went to sleep, but I thought, it can wait, and it has. So I'm doing it now. Here we go from WrestleZone. Jim Ross on allegations against Vince McMahon. It's time to move on. And this is from Colin Tessier over there at WrestleZone. On January 25, Janelle Grant filed the lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. John Laurinaitis, blah, blah, blah. Vince McMahon resigned from WWE under investigation, blah, blah, blah. Speaking on Grilling JR, Jim Ross, who previously worked for WWE for many years and was part of the Kiss My Ass fan club, was asked to share his thoughts on the allegations and the situation as a whole. Quote, and there's a H.T. Andrew Thompson of Post Wrestling for this transcription. Quote, lots of things afloat, and personally, I'll be glad when the winds have swept that change on through, Jim Ross said. I'm tired of it. It's embarrassing in a lot of ways that it's happened this way. It's affected a lot of innocent people. That's my take on it. I may be wrong, but it's time to move on. It's time to move on and cause some rest and peace for some people. It's time to move on, in my opinion. I just never believed that Vince would allow his company to get this out of control, and it has. I feel badly about that because I know how much the WWE meant to him. I'm sure it still does to some degree. So anyway, it's time. Let's go. Let's move on. Let's rewind it and cast the hook in the water one more time and see if we can catch something more positive. Now, it's always good to be doing something more positive, and I think TKO and the WWE are trying to do that as much as possible. But again, Jim Ross, I'm of the opinion at this point that everybody must have known something like that or things like this have been happening for a long time. I don't believe that this is a one-off. And if you were as high, I go back with JR as far as UWF and the Cowboy Bill Watts promotion back when we were talking about Sting when he was part of the Blade Runners, Rock and Sting. Yeah, I just don't. I don't see how JR, didn't know. But let's keep going. Jim Ross continued by noting that the allegations will offend Vince McMahon's legacy. Do you think? I mean, he's already been sort of erased. I don't think anybody in TKO wants to hear the name McMahon anytime soon for the next years. I'd say for years. But it won't be a major change given his contributions to the business. He reiterated that it was time to move on. Well, it'll affect Vince McMahon's legacy in wrestling to some degree, but it won't be earth-shattering, Jim Ross said. Wow, well, we'll see what happens if the federal investigation, what that uncovers. If it uncovers something, then he's as wrong as two left shoes. If they uncover nothing and, he just quietly settles, this lawsuit with Janelle Grant, pays her the $21 million, then it might go away. And so in 6 months, I think a lot of things will hinge on the federal criminal investigation. And then, you kind of go from there. We'll see. It won't be a big seismic graphic change because he's still Vince McMahon. He's still built this amazing company that many of us in different forms of pro wrestling are still celebrating and still playing off of. I just think it's time for all of us to move on and find happier days and build from there. Now, he's definitely part of the old guard, so I see where he's coming from. He's an older man. He's been in the business 40, 50 years. This is what he knows, and this is the foundation that he understands. So to see that shaken so badly, I see where he's coming from, but I think that a lot of people from younger generations are not going to agree and probably would. I mean, while they're, appreciative to be working in WWE, the name McMahon probably be a mixed bag at best. I just think it's time for all of us to move on and find happier days and build from there. But you'll never be able to take away from what Vince built and how he's helped a lot of people. I mean, a lot of guys that are making a living in pro wrestling right now can look at it any way they choose. But if they're being realistic, they look in the mirror and see Vince McMahon staring right in the face because he was the catalyst that created a lot of this change and the incomes going up and all those things. Okay. So I just wish it was over. I just wish we were moved on and all these issues are settled, and we need to move on to happier days, because I think that's what the business and the world needs, is happier days, and still get that with the old WWE memories. At least I do. Ross said that he was thankful that he had the chance to work at WWE, and he is now grateful for the opportunity to work for AEW. So it sounds like Ross is just being a loyal soldier. I mean, I get it. To have been there during the Attitude Era, so on and so forth. I mean, he's there at the very highest levels, but things move on. And now he's not there anymore. So I get where he's coming from. This kind of needs to finish rolling out. And we'll see how it plays out. Like I said, I think a lot is going to hinge on the criminal charges. If the criminal charges turn up anything, this is going to be a firestorm, at least in this subsection of, wrestling, in the wrestling world. And it will probably trickle over into, more mainstream, ESPN, these sorts of things. If not, and it's just Vince, then I think he'll settle this with the $21 million lawsuit. I saw that he just, the sign, though, that says that it may not, though. I saw Vince just sold about $400 million in shares. And the first thing that I thought was, wow, he's getting ready for his legal defense. And these sorts of suits are going to be very costly. And he looks like he's going to fight it. So it may be that they're going to uncover things, or that he is not just going to go away quietly. So I don't think it is going to go away anytime soon, really, when I add that little factor in there. But we'll see how it plays out. That's my video. Let me know what you think. Is JR being a loyal soldier? Is he still part of the Kiss My Butt Club? Let me know what you think. Like this video. Leave me your comments. I'm getting a lot of good feedback. And what a lot of people are saying, Vince knew, Triple H knew, Stephanie knew, the higher ups knew. At the JR level, yeah, I mean, if you're in the locker room, you probably knew. Whether you could do something about it, to affect a change, is another matter. Leave me your comments. Subscribe to the channel. I've been very appreciative of the recent onrush of subs. So please keep it coming, so I can start to monetize this channel and turn over a couple of bucks. That would be nice in this economy. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, and God bless you. All right. Bye-bye.